Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer, and welcome to Farm Manager 2021. This is a first look into the game, just released today from Cleverson Software. Thank you to them for the key to check this one out and bring it to you. So I've already taken some time to go through the tutorial. Also, this is the second release in the series, Farm Manager 2018. This was originally slated to come out in 2020, but with COVID, it got pushed back into 2021. So this is a sequel. I played the original one, and plus quickly going through the tutorial, I feel suitable to get into this. Now, I'm planning on doing a campaign series on the channel here. Do let me know if you want to see that. Be sure to comment below. Be sure to click that like button. The more comments and likes we get, the more certain that campaign series is to come. But in the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and jump into free mode. We'll talk a little bit about the game and what's different between this one and the old one, and if you haven't seen the original one in the series, what to expect in all. Alright, so we open at the beginning of April. We've got winter coming, so we do have seasons in this game. So we're going to have to deal with that. It's 49 degrees Fahrenheit right now, so it's cool, not too bad off. We're definitely not dealing with freezing for those who are comfortable or familiar with Celsius, but not Fahrenheit. 32 degrees Fahrenheit is the freezing point, which is 0 degrees Celsius. We have £1,000,000 or million monies, whatever you want to deal with there. And so we've got to start with nothing but one small plot of land, and that is our dotted line. We're along the road, we have access to power, but we have a farmhouse and nothing else at this point. We have no staff. We're starting from scratch now. Of course, this is free mode now. In the campaign mode, you're traditionally going to have scenarios playing out one after another, build up, complete certain objectives, and then move on to the next part of the campaign. I do like the open sandbox feel of the free mode almost a little bit more than I like the campaign driven. I like to get in and just kind of grow my farm. Now, what we have up here is the marketplace. We have a couple things that are trending upward in terms of sell prices, a couple things that are trending downward in terms of sell prices, and then that's the basics of what's going on with the HUD. Now, beyond that, we have a whole bunch of options here: demolition, tractor work, there's your market, power grid, building, road work, and then what you can do with fields. Obviously, at this point, all we have is the farm owner's house, which has 4 grid places in terms of parking. Quite minimal. We can upgrade this building, which is going to increase the size of it. We can buy more land. We can buy and sell machines. And then it does have a warehouse space. So the house itself, here primarily, has some warehouse storage. So we can start at least without additional storage, and we can get our first few pieces of equipment located here. So far, the biggest difference between the Farm Manager 2021 and the previous 2018 game, the original release, is there's a lot more depth. And then, of course, you'll quickly see a pretty significant improvement upon the graphics. So we have some things available to us that we're going to need. Let's not just go into the all. Let's try to get into... Let's see, we have some others. Pump, greenhouse. Oh, I love the greenhouses because you can get some year-round production going out of that. Unlike the previous one where you always had to hire out, you can actually get your own veterinary clinic on site as you get bigger. Mechanics garage. Bring in your own power. We have to go through training to unlock a lot of this. Logistics. Move things around quicker. Okay, house for permanent employees. Right now we can't have any permanent employees, so we're gonna want to get a house. This is probably a good place to start. That's 8 beds for 8 permanent employees. You can get seasonal employees, and it's not as straightforward as it was before on that matter, by the way. Let's go ahead and put that house right next to the big house. Alright, it's going to take a little time for that to get built, so we'll allow that to go on. That'll get us our first 8 employees. And then, let's see, beekeeping. Is available. Some of these are going to be locked. Small chicken coop is available right off the bat. We might want to start with chicken. Doesn't take up a lot of space and shouldn't be too hard to handle. So why don't we start with that? We'll get chickens on the go. Everything always has to connect to the main road, so that is important to be aware of. I suppose we can just start, yeah, right here. Alright, they're going to need power. And that starts with a transformer. That's going to get us power in the area. I suppose we're already starting to build this way. Make sure that that's connected up. Oh, really? You're that far off. Can we undo that one? Really? Put one in there as well? Alright. Well, there's our grid for now. It's not pretty, but it'll do. Let's go ahead and take a moment, hire on. We'll grab our first, say, 4 employees. That'll get us started. We're going to want one for plants, so Mally Baker, sure, she's very weak. She's 1 out of 5 stars, but we can train her up in time. She'll be cheaper that way. Machines and animals, that's probably not a bad way to go. Beekeeping, I think I'm going to try to get into beekeeping soon. And one for animals, Theo. And Poppy. Okay. Chicken coop is ready. We had one for animals. Let's see, animals, Theo. Okay, and then we want to buy some chickens. And let's go ahead and fill this thing up. 10 chickens. And we've got to choose what kind of food we want for this. We have oats, corn, soya, we have potatoes, or sunflower. Oats are probably going to give us a cheaper option starting out. Corn, we're going to need a little diversity, and get the soya. So we're going to have to purchase this for now, as we obviously don't have a farm that's growing these things as of yet. So oats, corn, and soya. So let's go into the market, and we're going to find oats, corn, and oya. There's oat. Let's go ahead and buy 100 of those. Oh, we need a small silo. Okay, well then let's build a silo. Alright, small silo. Oh, it does need to be connected to the road. Well, that's silly. Let's put this over here by the power grid. Okay, oats. And we need corn. And you can see how it's mimicking the number we already have set, so it's giving us 100. And then, is that this way? Yes. Alright, so we're spending a little bit of money for that, and later on we certainly want to be able to grow those kind of things on our own. So that's going to give us good variety of food, so the chickens will produce effectively. And then in the warehouse, it looks like we're going to get chicken eggs from them, and that's it. So we're going to get chicken eggs out of them. That is something we'll then be able to take to market and start making a profit, and it'll definitely be more than the 500 that we spent. But that's only the start, and that's one employee. We have 3 more. Now let's go back to that staff for a second. We have somebody for animals and machines. Okay, so we can get another thing to do with animals going, and then we could also probably get them going there. We'll start growing our own crops soon, and beekeeping was the other one. Well, let's see what happens when we get beekeeping. We don't want that to be right in the middle of everything, though. Okay, there's our 10 hives. And the type of honey we want to produce. And assign our beekeeper. Now these don't even need. That's nice. The beekeeping doesn't even require any type of food, so that's a good thing. That'll help us out. And you can see our employee there, Poppy, going out to work. So we have her general happiness. We have her endurance. They can only handle so much work, and you can see her pay is standard, so she's right down the middle. That's her pay that she's earning, and this is how many hours she can work. We can improve her skill. You can see we could do that for 1400. That affects the amount of honey collected. And that's actually not that expensive to improve. So let's just take care of that. Good employer. We actually got an achievement for that. And now she'll be effective without costing us a ton. And you can see we're already getting multi-flower honey. There's buckwheat, there's colza. Now, the amount of honey we're getting is probably not a lot right now. Do you not have anywhere to store? No, you have your own internal warehouse. Nope, does not show honey. So we need to have some sort of specialized warehouse on where to deliver our bees. Well, that's our honey, that is. Okay, warehouses. Okay, clearly not the silo. Especially when there's one like right next to it. That's hay straw. Haylages. Seeds, plants, fruits and vegetables, meats, dairy, bottles and jars. It's bottles and jars, it's a jar. So we're gonna need this big boy. Alright, I guess we'll place this crossroad here. Alright, we've got the food, we're good there. Have we started? Have we gotten anywhere on the eggs yet? Yes, 131 eggs already. So if we were to go to market, take 131 eggs, that's already recovering almost all of the food. And you can see we've only used 6 kilograms of the 100 that we started with each, and that was 533 combined for all 3 of those units, and we've recovered that money in a fraction of the cost. Now, of course, we have our wages for our employees and so many other expenses, but you can see just how easy that is to cover off. what we've earned, so that's a good thing. All right, we're gonna need some power for this. Let's go ahead and open that transformer there, and okay, hook that up. And there's the appropriate warehouse, so the honey has somewhere to go. Alright, we had 2 more unassigned staff, and one of those is 4 plants. I suppose we can start growing one of the crops we need here. Or we can do another. Small ostrich farm. A fish farm. Nice, fish farm. Interesting. That's definitely a new feature that they didn't have in the previous one. Oh, it's a little bit big. Honey's producing nicely. I mean, we're going at slow speed. I mean, we're only 10 days in. I like how they're doing the construction this time around. It's a similar feel to what it did before, but there's a lot more going on with it. Okay, do I need to add power to that? Oh, I do need to add power here. Alright, well, fish farm. It did not get a specific. I'm assuming we need an employee. Not for animals, but possibly for fish. Let's see if there is something. Might just be another animals employee, possibly. Let's just go ahead and hire Nancy. We'll assign Nancy to this one. Okay, 50 fish. We have carp or trout. Oh, definitely trout. I'm under the philosophy of if you gotta do it right, do it to max. So we're gonna take 50, and then we need some food. We have, well, corn. There's another reason to start farming corn, as we have, and soya. Okay, what's that gonna give us there? And actually the bees thrive when placed around a field of something. And what was it that they're going to thrive off of? Buckwheat honey, colza honey, or multi-flower, which is what we're set to right now. So maybe we do the buckwheat, and then we can use that here. So we'll add in buckwheat, which we don't have any of at the moment. So let's go ahead and do a field of buckwheat. Let's see, 0.067 hectares. We can go a little bit bigger. Alright, so we have our first field. We're going to make a buckwheat field. So we want buckwheat seeds. 95 days. It's still early April, so we're okay on that part. Alright, now here's that trickier part. We need a tractor. Okay, obviously not an orchard tractor, but what's a Riga tractor? Tractor allows for attaching tools and trailers in order to enable field work or transportation of products. It does not move too fast, but performs well in the rough lands. Before the invention of the tractor, people used farm animals to help them with work of the land. About 8. Attaching tools and trailers enabled to do field work. Does not move too fast, but performs well in rough. It's the same thing. So what's the difference between these? The cost. What about the orchard one? Has the same concept. The size is different. This is a 1x2, that's a 1x1. Working with power. Oh, significantly less power. But not significantly less cost. So I suppose we will. Oh, and this is what it's going to do. Can we do buckwheat? No, finding that's going to be trickier. Alphabetical. Is it alphabetical? It's not alphabetical. There's buckwheat right there. Okay, we'll do buckwheat. Okay, I think we're going to need additional parking as well, but let's see what we can do. Okay, so we want... Probably going to need a cultivator. Maybe a plow. That's a big one. That's a little one. Alright, let's see. How are we gonna get this figured out exactly what I need? Ah, there you go. Okay, tractor, cultivator. We need a fertilizer spreader, seed drill. Well, possibly. We don't have to have all of these things. Some of this can be due. We need a lily plow. Okay, let's get the lily plow next. And there you go. Alfie getting to work. Fertilizer spreader might be a good addition. This is all the potential things, but there's a difference between what you must have versus what you can get away with. And as we are just getting started and only doing a single field, we definitely... Seed drill might be necessary. Alright, what are you missing now? Okay, we got the tractor. Okay, cultivator's going out. Alright, how are we doing over here? Because you have an alert of some sort as well. The alert is not enough resources, buckwheat. I think we need to buy some for now, but we don't need to buy what we would normally buy. Let's go ahead and buy a small quantity. Let's make it 20. Alright, how we doing now? We have some there. We have honey. We have trout meat already. We have chicken eggs. Let's go ahead and check the market, see if we can't make a little bit of money. Of course, we want to be breaking even as soon as possible. And 4,700 is definitely not going to help us break even. As we've started at $1 million, we're down to 836. But you gotta spend money to make money. And we'll get a lot more honey once this field's up and running. There's definitely some of this that can be done by hand. We can allow manual work that'll allow it to keep going. Certainly don't want much. Let's give it a chance and see what happens if we're getting something delivered here. Or is that the product being sold? Nope, things are being handled automatically. There's fertilizer coming in. Fertilizer being spread, so there you go. They're still active. Suppose here's a good way to check in. Ooh, we've gone right through that corn and soya. Of course, a lot of that's going into that fish farm. Maybe we need to buy some more corn and soya. Let's buy some additional units of that before we run out. Certainly not costing us much, but also would be in our best interest to get a couple fields of those going before long, as we're using a lot of that for the and we've already replenished a bit of stock, so we're doing okay on producing some income for ourselves, despite the fact that we have limited equipment. The doing things by hand, the manual labor part's going to be challenging, as we only have a couple employees capable of doing that at the moment. But right now we're keeping the expenses to a minimum, to where we could be probably breaking about even on things, or at least making a minor profit. Sustainability is really important when you jump into a sandbox mode like this, and it's so easy to get away from that sustainability, financial sustainability, quite quickly, quite easily. And you see things take a while. That corn and soya that we ordered just arrived. That was that shipment right there. Got a couple more trucks coming in. We'll see what they're up to. Another delivery being made, and that was seeds. So there we go. The seeds were taken care of manually, and I really like that, or automatically. You don't have to do everything manually. Seed drill now. Alfie heading out. We've already done some watering, so steps are coming along. And meanwhile, fish farm like this one, this should be a pretty steady source of income for us. And I think ultimately, with time, right, a cornfield, a soya field, plus that buckwheat field should have things going pretty swimmingly for us. I mean, outside of maybe oats as well. And oats, excuse me, oats are probably going to be a good one to put in this vicinity. And you can have yourself a nice little network of honey, chicken, you know, the eggs, and then the trout, and everything on your own without having to purchase and bring in just those 4 fields. And then you're looking before long at everything happening internally without having to buy those resources and coming in, and then you can start to see a pretty healthy healthy diet of money coming in, selling those products. That trout, especially with 50 there, is going to produce a lot. Chickens aren't going to produce a ton, as it's just 10, but you're going to bring in that. We're going to get a lot of honey with these fields. Our honey production is going to go up a lot faster now that the bees have somewhere. Because remember when we saw this, here's their rage. They're going to go to the flowers and pollinate the flowers, and they're going to produce a lot more honey than what they were doing before. So it's important to have that. I do remember that from playing the previous game. But again, if we go to market and just take what we've already done, just in this last little bit, there's a couple thousand more. We had that 4,000 earlier. We had that 1,000. So yeah, we've brought in 10,000. Now that, in the grand scheme of things, really is not much. 10,000 when we've spent 170,000. But add that up. That revenue is going to be a steady stream, and that's how this game works ultimately. Is in the campaign mode, so often it's just do this, do that, and then you move on. Doesn't teach you about the sustainability element, that how to make money and make more money than what you're spending. So important, so vital, and that's why I love a sandbox mode such as this that allows that to happen. It looks like we do have we need the sprayer. Okay, so we can pick up a sprayer. Not enough staff. Okay. Oh, shortcut. There's your go straight to the sprayer. Oh, I like that. Okay, throw that on there, and now we have our sprayer. And now we don't have the issue with staff. So we can get away with certain pieces of equipment missing, but it looks like there's certain things that we're not going to be able to get away without having. 80 days until that's ready. And again, that by itself already has income available for us. However, we'll be able to put a lot of that in the silo and use that for our fish farm. But I love this kind of game. It's like a colony sim. You have all of those elements of building up, but there's just so many steps in the process. And certain games are just straightforward and simple, and you never have that. Others, where you have this depth, like this one. And that's really the difference between Farm Manager 2021 and Farm Manager 2018, is you are adding even more depth to a game that already provided depth that others just don't have. And the quality graphics, I mean, it's not the most amazing graphics you're going to see in a game, but it's certainly good quality graphics. You can see the action, you can see what's going on, and things are happening quickly. Bang, bang, bang. There's just so much going on. And we just started from scratch and put together a functioning farm in half an hour. So it's good to see, and we've done it without spending a ton of money, and this farm will ultimately be self-sustainable. And there's just those few more steps, another half an hour of play, putting some things together, and this thing will be turning a profit with only having spent about 300,000, and then you've got a profitable farm making back the money that was spent to do that. And then after a while you speed through a year, get into that next year, whatever, and you add another element to your farm and buy some land and start doing cows or whatever. It's really cool, and I, like I said, I love the depth factor. There's so many steps in the process that have to be completed, but then also there's so many different processes to be involved in. Okay, what are you missing here? Ooh, we're out of buckwheat already, huh? Now, we'll have some grown, but that's not going to be ready for like 3 months. Well, anyway, that's a simple fix. We know what to do there. I'm Decathlon Gamer. I really appreciate you tuning in to check out Farm Manager 2021. If you like what you saw, be sure to hit that like button. If you want to see more, definitely hit subscribe. And also comment below, because I'd like to turn this into a full-blown series with this game. It's a fun little title, and be sure to check it out. Available now where games are sold.